Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Leading into my office. And so I found you guys on YouTube, and I thought I'd give you a call just to see what products might work for me and to get some more information.
Okay, so you've got a couple of doors and you want to retard the transmission of sound. Okay. So gasketing is very typical for that, all the way from adding anything that you can get, your hands on at the big box store, all the way up to material that's literally been tested by an independent laboratory to a specific level of sound transmission control. And I think it starts with how much money you want to spend, and then you just buy something that's sound rated if possible within that budget, because the STC material is hundreds of dollars to do an opening. And at that point, if your opening wasn't built, if the door and frame and the wall wasn't built to be STC rated, well, it's going to come through the wall. So the gasket will stop it, but the door and frame and wall may not.
Yeah, and what we're trying to achieve, so my husband and I both work from home. I'm a musician, and my sound is the one that we're really worried about. But basically what we want to try and do is when we're both in our offices, which are on different floors of the house and different areas of the house, when we're kind of both in our offices with the doors closed, that my sound doesn't get into his office. So what we're wanting to do just in terms of, cost effectiveness, seeing as we just bought this house, so we're not 100% sure exactly what we're going to need. We wanted to start with the doors, and if soundproofing the doors works, then we're good. But if it doesn't, then we'd look into going into the walls.
Yeah. What instrument is it?
I play the oboe.
Oh, okay, cool. At least it's not the electric bass.
Right. It's not like a drum set or something, or whatever. Yeah. It's a classical instrument, but it's still enough noise where if we don't do some soundproofing, it'll carry throughout the house.
Yeah, no doubt. So, adding material around the perimeter boils down to where you want to apply it. Do you want to apply it between the jamb and the door, or do you want to apply it on the stop and it's surface mounted?
I'd like to, because with, once COVID kind of clears up a little bit, I do teach as well. So I will be using this studio to welcome students and everything. So ideally I'd like it to look, kind of as subtle as possible. I've seen a lot of stuff where it is, like the big metal things that you put on the door. And if that's the best way to do it, then that's the best way to do it. But ultimately the most subtle option to still achieve what we want to do is what I'm looking for.
Well, subtle would see something installed so that when the door is closed, you don't see it. Subtle is also going to be, the least of all options that you can employ to gain results. And STC rated material will employ both surface mounted, the big metal stuff, and then the concealed stuff. On the opening at the same time. I have a client in San Diego, and his whole business is just this, supplying and installing this for clients like you and your husband. Yeah, so it's, there's lots of people looking for solutions like this. So if you're in my website, I'll point you in the direction of a couple of products.
Okay.
So
yes, I have the website pulled up right now.
Okay. In that search box, top center, enter the asterisk character, the doodad above the 8, and then type in S as in Sierra, the number 88, D as in Delta, then hit enter.
Okay, it's pulling up some PEMCO things.
Yeah. So that material is a very easy to install, self-adhesive that's installed on the rabbet of the frame so that when the door is closed, you just don't see it. So that's the lowest hanging fruit, that sort of type of product. But the stuff's not sound rated at all. It's not been, thought about for that purpose, and therefore not tested. But it certainly does help. It's what they use in hotels. Not necessarily for that purpose primarily, but for smoke control. So that would be a low-hanging fruit. Material for around the perimeter. Same search box could be the number 303 followed by the letters CS as in Charlie, Sierra.
Okay. And should I do the asterisk as well again?
You don't have to on this one.
Okay. Okay.
So
all right. So now I'm
footprint.
seeing some astragals and perimeter seals. Yes.
Yeah. So
okay.
there are then, and that's sound. It's been sound rated. It's known to deaden the transmission of sound, but it's not. There's not an associated value, that you can say, oh, the coefficient of transmission is X. They don't test it like that. Not this. The stuff that's hundreds of dollars they do. On that 303, there's lots of variations on that, and the only thing I can say is, the larger the surface area of the material making contact with the door, the more it's going to cost. But the larger the surface area, the more effective it'll be.
Okay. I'm just making a couple notes as we're talking here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So since these are, it says astragal and perimeter seal. So, like if I wanted to use this as an astragal, it looks like I would probably get 2 of these and put them on each side of the double door,
you have
so
pairs
as they
of doors.
shut, they come together.
You have pairs of doors?
One, ultimately we'd be looking to seal up 4 doors total. 2 of those doors are a double door situation.
Okay. Yes, the answer is yes to, you concluded that correctly. There's another part number that I'd like to give you, and it would be, let's look at the part number 285, Charlie Romeo.
Okay.
Still petite, going to be more expensive, but because of the nature of the material, it will have better sound deadening properties because it's basically a sponge.
Okay.
Then they just get bigger from there. More surface area, more cost, more stuff that you have to look at every time you look at the door. But that's the sand blot that we're playing in. Leaving here, we go to material that is tested, rated, known to control sound transmission, and then your cost goes to $20, $30, $40 a foot for that kind of stuff. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra has $1 billion of STC control gasketing in it naturally, and everything is insulated. There's cork and rubber everywhere. Yeah.
Yep. Just out of curiosity, what would that, like, what would an example of a product like that be? Just so I know all the options.
Yeah, bear with me. I studied electric bass for a while, and I can tell you on first-hand experience, it was best if I did that before anyone got home. Because you'll hear it.
Yep.
Put the headphones in, et cetera. It's just, I'm not going to play live that way. So I'd kind of like to, anyway, you know way more about it than I do.
Oh yeah, I feel you on that, where it's like, yeah, you could, you can't really put a mute in an oboe, but like I've known brass players where it's like you can practice with a practice mute in the instrument, but it's not the same. Like,
not at all.
No.
and to a new player, that's going to really affect how the ear develops, in my opinion.
Yes, 100%.
So, okay, some STC material. So while I'm pulling up this next catalog from the name that is synonymous with the entire line, you're going to need to also consider what you might do at the floor, at the bottom of the door. So there is some STC rated material from a company that I like. Their name is Reese, and that part number is 599 Charlie.
Okay.
And that material is capable of maintaining an STC 46, which is not huge, but it's on the threshold of where the real high STC stuff starts to play. And that's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, STC, like a super high STC, at least what I've been seeing in terms of like when I've researched doors specifically, once you get above like 55 or so, that's when it's.
Oh, that's a different animal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So 46 isn't too far away from that. So I see what you're saying in terms of relationship between the two.
Yeah, considering if you took the door and just caulked it shut, it'd be an STC 32. When you keep it operable, obviously that's where leakage is going to occur. That same 599 would be an STC 51 if you caulked that door shut.
Yeah.
So that just to compare the 599 against the knowledge that you possess about STC, that's actually a 51 if it was caulked shut.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's ugly and it's huge and it's costly, but it carries a rating.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at a couple of these too. Okay.
I think the thing to start with, because when I had a customer who they were remodeling the CSO, they pulled out all sorts of egg crate out of there, and he gave it all to me, and I lined my basement with it. My kids studied music for almost a decade, so I have a very amateur understanding of what you're facing. Start with the low-hanging fruit, because if you go with the more expensive stuff, you're going to keep in place what you've already installed. Get some of that S88 or something like that, and just see what happens, and go from there. So dip your toe in it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm searching this one more time. Yeah, so that's the kind of the self-adhesive gasketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband and I we do want to get an automatic door bottom kind of right off the bat as well, just because in every home, but especially in the ones that we got, like the gap between the bottom of the door is so big between that and the floor. Would you recommend, we have hardwood floors in the house. In your opinion, would a threshold be needed as well, or with flooring like that, or do you think an automatic door bottom itself would be fine, depending on, the drop amount that it would need to seal to the floor?
Your clearance dimension, if that exceeds what it can drop. I would say no. I don't really see that you're going to pick much up, provided that you can have provided that your floor is level and your clearance is within tolerance. For that unit to work. The STC automatic door bottom that goes with those 599s is their part number 521C, and that would be an STC compatible version.
Okay.
Gotcha. Other companies to look at, Zero, we sell all of their material. I could have easily have pointed you in their direction first, but I pulled up the Reese catalog first. So we can start the whole conversation by looking at another manufacturer as well. Zero, their name is synonymous with high-end weather stripping, lots of STC components. But it's variations at this point when it's been tested. It's just it's variations on this theme. So they're all good. I happen to prefer Reese because I find them to be a little less expensive. They hit the same criteria. They ship faster. They're all nice people. Reese is nicer.
Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, I guess bringing that up in terms of shipping and lead time, what, with something like Reese, what would we be looking at in terms of getting these materials?
Well, they ship out in about 3 business days.
Okay.
And in my website, when you click Buy Now on the right side, below that and to the left will be a link that's called More from Reese. And when you click on that, their product catalog will present itself on the following page. So you can slide through there and say, okay, I get an idea. And some of those items, there are videos of me blabbing on back in the website.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, just looking around, I think I will have to take some time and there's so much information on here, which is great. But I think I will have to take some time and kind of look through it and decide exactly what we want to do.
Yep. Another company is Legacy. That is going to be very similar to Xero. But you're not. It's not the CSO. There are not acoustical engineers involved. You want to do the best you can and not spend $1 billion. I think that's the goal. I mean, Egg Crate is awful for what we did, but I'll tell you this: it was free and it really, really helped. So I didn't spend any money, and I got some bang for what I did labor-wise.
Yep. Cool. 100%. Just out of curiosity, because my husband and I, we are in Southern California. What is your contact in San Diego?
For real? Are you in the San Diego area? Because my guy Neil is amazing. I would very much recommend that you talk to him. He's
we're
the real deal.
Not in San Diego, but we're in Orange County, so very close.
Yeah, not awful in terms of distance.
Yeah.
So absolutely tell Neil that we happen to be talking, and I just mentioned the fact of my guy in San Diego. Okay, right. So his name, as you've probably determined, is Neil, Neil.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.